Hello, my name is Anthony M. Trujillo.
I'm Chris Isenguard.
Shoshana Gilbert.
Hey, Shoshana, how are you tonight?
Doing good. How about you?
Good.
This is your house. You live here
I'm lucky enough to live here.
27 years, you say?
Been here 27 years.
Your first Zozobra was here at this house, or it was not at this house?
Well, the first Zozobra actually happened in a little town called Salema, Portugal. It's a fishing village about as far west as anything in Europe. Or they like to say the westernmost edge of Europe. And I was traveling with a good friend of mine, and Zozobra had been always part of my annual ritual. I needed to have my release of bad things. And when we planned this trip, I didn't think about Zozobra at the time. And it turns out we were going to be on the road. And I said, well, wherever I am, I'm going to burn something. So the first Zozobra was made out of driftwood and a restaurant paper tablecloth and scrap off of a cigarette pack. And we built it. It was only about 18 inches tall. We built it and burned it on the beach there on the traditional Friday night of the burning of Zozobra in Santa Fe.
And if you could elaborate a little bit more about Zozobra and not Zozobra.
Well, Santa Fe decided after a violent incident one year when crowds were out of control, they decided they were going to try to make Zozobra more of a local community thing. So they moved it to Thursday night specifically so that Albuquerque folks would have to go to work the next day couldn't come. And at that point I was living in Albuquerque, and we tried it, it just didn't work. You didn't have the same release that you have on a Friday night. You don't have to go to work tomorrow, man. You just get drunk and don't drive and stay over and everything's
Somewhere
good.
safe.
Somewhere safe. But so it just didn't work on a Thursday night for me. So the next year, which was in 1998, the street in front of my house was never paved. The city forgot to pave it. The rest of the neighborhood.
Off dirt road.
And it's just, the last 50, 60 feet of road was just dirt, so we built a little 5.5 foot tall effigy and wrote bad things on it. And my friends and neighbors and the neighbor kids helped build it. And it felt good to have that release and to do this little local party, and there was probably 30, 40 people here. So we decided to do it again the next year, and we decided to call it not Zozobra because Zozobra is copyrighted by the Kiwanis of Santa Fe, and they use it to raise money for scholarships and such.
Right.
And we didn't want any confusion between Zozobra and what we did, so we called ours not Zozobra. All one word, and what we did is Zozobra.
And it's strictly just that, not Zozobra.
It's not the name of it, not Zozobra. We sometimes shorten it to Nacho.
So,
yeah. And unlike the Santa Fe thing, we decided early on that this would be local, it would be community, it would be non-commercial, so that you don't charge any admission,
it's all free.
There's no sales merchandise or anything like that.
Well, that's the way it really should be,
Well, it should be. It's a celebration, and it's more like the original Zozobra that Will Schuster and his friends started, almost 100 years ago.
Yeah, I'm from Santa Fe, and there was a time when it used to be free. Everybody used to just go everywhere and get on the hills and look at those Zozobra, and all the belly dancers, all the drummers, all the fire dancers. And you have that here, basically.
Yeah.
Some of the fire dancers.
We don't have the fire dancer.
Oh, yes. Because of that $2 million policy?
Yeah, the city told us to have fire dancers, so we had to have a $2 million liability policy.
That's absolutely ridiculous.
Now, they said we could burn a 16-foot tall effigy in the middle of the neighborhood without this, but the guy tore the town on fire and $2 million. Wow. So, essentially we got priced out of having fire dancers.
kind of
And-
funny considering the fact that fire dancers are usually trained professionals, but any schmuck could light something on fire.
Yeah, well, it's the way it is. You know, I can't complain too much. Life goes on.
Yeah.
So we had to drop the fire dancers. But we had fun anyway.
Yeah, I got to see 2 years of this. It was awesome. Last year we came in. I got invited by Jay Nathanson, and then he invited both of us, as a matter of fact.
Yeah.
And so we ended up coming here, and we had a blast. And she was riding all over the Zozobra, you know.
I went a little crazy with
Yeah,
that.
I created a monster. And
Sharpie madness.
yes, and in the film, in the footage I
Oh,
have,
yes.
lots of it.
Well, that's the purpose of it, is to get rid of bad feelings.
It's like Old Man Gloom. Once
Exactly.
Old Man Gloom is gone, it's time for the new.
Or you can look at it as kind of like confession for non-Catholics.
Right.
You write down bad feelings that you have, and you burn them up, and they're gone. You're forgiven those bad feelings. Right?
Right.
So there is a spiritual aspect to what we do out there.
She lived here for 27 years. How old are you now?
I'm 67 years old.
67 years old, and you've had a grateful life.
I've had a wonderful life. I don't have any complaints. There are very few complaints.
And you said you were married at one time.
I married my high school sweetheart. We were engaged for 4 years and married for 16, so we had 20 wonderful years together. And the time came that it was the right thing for both of us to do, to move on with our lives, to do different things, and we did. We're still friends.
And that's life. You basically move on. You never dwell on anything
Yeah,
bad.
you enjoy what you've had in the past, and you keep the good memories, and with not so over, you get rid of any bad feelings you might have. So you keep the good, get rid of the bad. So you tend to forget all the bad things that happened and remember all the good. That's one of the secrets to having a happy life, I think.
And in the footage, I see the historical marker on your house. What about this property? Is this all yours, or does it go on any further out?
Well, the lot is 25 feet wide
Okay.
and 147 or 45 feet deep. And at the back of the lot, there's an alleyway. So I have a garage back there. It is a new garage, but I built it so that it wasn't exactly like the old house, but it has some of the same architectural elements.
Right. I see the roof is the same as this one,
Yeah, it does.
and the same arch on it.
Yeah, it has the same angle of the roof as the main house, and the same treatment underneath the I forget what that's called.
I really like how they're connected by that light fixture.
Yeah, I was lucky enough to travel to Italy one time, and my favorite little village in Italy, they would have lights like this strung between the houses. And I found this thing, it's actually an industrial lighting fixture. And a couple of my friends installed it, and it's on a dimmer so I can have it as bright or as dim as I
That's
want.
great.
I like that.
And one of the things I like about this house is and that's going to sound kind of shallow, but it really works for parties.
I'm gonna have to say that's true.
This is a beautiful place.
There's the front porch, which is a small little grouping. There's the grouping after the burning that stands around over the smoldering ashes of evil, and that's a little group. And then there's a little group in the living room, and then another one in the kitchen, and then there's a group in the bedroom waiting to get into the one bathroom, and then you come out in the backyard, and there's a group around the patio, and sometimes there's another group in the back of the thing.
And
So-
people playing music and singing.
And singing and playing music, and what you have is, you have 60, 70 people, 100 people sometimes or more that's partying in this little tiny space, but it's like having a bunch of little parties happening.
Right,
One
that's
thing
kind of-
that I've
yeah.
noticed is that the crowd here gets very diverse. You know, I mean, you got people of all different sorts, all different ages, genders, races, all kinds of stuff. Economic classes even.
Sure,
Yeah.
but isn't that the way the world is?
Well,
I mean,
kind
to
of,
me
but a
that
lot
sounds
of
like a normal thing
parties.
to do.
No, not really, because a lot of parties nowadays, they have a cover fee. So people like me, people who have a little bit of an economic disadvantage can't really go to those places, you know? I mean, some clubs and stuff even have some guy that tells you who can get in and who can't, you know?
Well, we're not here to make money.
Oh, I know,
We're
but
here
that's
to
one of
have
the
a
things
good
that's so
time.
beautiful about it. One of the reasons
Yeah, 'cause
why
I
it's
also
such a
see
diverse party.
People of all ages here too, you know. And that's
Yeah.
really nice. I like that.
There's
Yeah.
no discrimination.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I've always been lucky enough to have friends of varying ages. I have now a couple of sets of friends where I've been friends with 3 generations of the family. And I don't mean just friends that when Dad's here, the son's around. I mean, we're independently on our own friends. But my friend David Thomas, the sculptor of dinosaurs,
Oh yeah.
and fiddle player, he became my friend back in the 80s, I guess. And then I met his son, Dave, who is a scientist and semi-professional skeptic. He's often quoted in the national media when they have the evolution versus creation.
What's his name?
Dave Thomas.
Dave Thomas.
And
I'm quite familiar, but I can't really point where I've
I
heard
think
that.
once Wendy's, but
it's not the same guy that's in the
Yeah.
Wendy's thing.
Okay.
And then his son Matt, who's a wonderful guitar player and good friend, just comes over and hangs out and plays guitar in the backyard from time to time. And sometimes father and son are here at the same time and play together, but sometimes it's just one and not the other. But it's 3 generations of family. I've got a couple of friends now where I'm friends with their children and even grandchildren.
and I see a lot of people come over here and they have a great time. And have they ever stolen from you in your house?
Well, we have after not Zozobra, we have what we call the after party.
Oh.
And the after party goes on until it ends. And usually people bring instruments and play their instruments at the after party. And 2 years ago, or not Zozobra before last, a guy was here, ate our food, drank our liquor, flirted with our women, and when he left, he picked up a guitar that was just finished and walked out the door with it. A friend of mine saw him walking away with the guitar, thought it was his guitar because he was playing it, and it wasn't. And
He clearly made a mistake, or maybe not.
well, he came without a guitar and he left with a guitar.
Ah, so he didn't make a mistake.
And he played somebody else's guitar, and when he left, he took that person's guitar with
Wow.
him without his permission. I don't know what you call that.
Did you ever get
Thievery?
it back?
Well, I had talked to the guy and surprisingly remembered his name.
Wow.
Because, you know, I do tend to imbibe at these parties, but I remembered his name. And remembered a thing or two about our conversation. And went on the internet the next day and found a great deal of information about him, including that he used to live across the street from a friend of mine who was also at the party. I was surprised to see him here, did not invite him. But anyway, I got all this information on him and I found out where he was living. And on Monday morning, I was banging on his door about 10 o'clock in the morning, and he opened the door and looked at me and said, "You know why I'm here?" And he said, "Yeah, the guitar." He gave the guitar back to me. So,
Oh, that's pretty cool. He didn't give you a hard time or anything.
right?
Well, what would you have done if he did give you a hard time?
All cops, I guess, right?
I'm an old, decrepit guy. I guess he could beat me up.
But you did stand up to that.
You know, I guess that could happen.
You probably had that
And if he-
respect back in
and
his
if he-
mind.
If he
somewhere.
did, I would have called the cops. But
I'm fairly sure that you have several friends that would probably go beat him up.
I'm not into violence.
Yeah,
I don't
because
like
violence only begets violence. right?
Exactly. But
Yeah, but you seem like the kind of person who would have a lot of loyal friends.
I do have a wonderful group of friends.
Yeah.
Very lucky guy.
And a lot of times whenever people hurt your friends, you act somewhat independently, you know?
Yeah.
Even if they don't want you to. I had a friend who had an ex-boyfriend who I talked to without asking her if
Well, I never encouraged that kind of behavior. I think that
Well, he was a prick.
well, even for pricks, there are rules that we should live by. There are laws that should give us redress for our grievances. It doesn't always work that way, but you know, I prefer a civil society where people figure out their differences without resorting to violence.
You don't get that anybody fighting like over here at all.
We've never had any kind of incident not so great in my 27 years of living here, and a couple of times a year there are parties here.
But it's been going on for 17 years, right?
Well, not so over for 17.
17. Right.
We do a Christmas Eve open house where I wear the red suit. That's been going on.
And each Zozobra is supposed to be different, right?
Yeah, each one is different. I don't know if they will all be different forever.
So this year we saw the little globe taking a selfie.
Yeah.
That was pretty
That was
creative.
awesome.
I like that.
I really liked it. And you had the dry ice on top. That was great.
That was awesome.
I've never seen dry ice and fire at the same time. It was awesome.
It's great.
Yeah, we have to figure that out. One of the problems we have with that is that dry ice is frozen carbon dioxide.
It is.
And carbon dioxide is what they use to be fire extinguishers.
That's right.
So we had to figure out
But the right combination.
how to
burn.
build a place for the dry ice at the polar ice cap where the flames are shooting out. But as it outgassed, that the carbon dioxide would fall to the outside of the building rather than fall in. So we molded in a little.
Well, this year I expected to see another big Zozobra like we did last year.
Yeah, that's what I was
you know.
expecting at first too, but I was pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, it was pretty good. I really liked.
Well,
I really enjoyed it.
To simplify things, especially with the permitting process, which has gotten totally out of hand, we decided to try to work out with the fire marshal's office, which is kind of the central group that we have to start with, how big they would let us have an effigy burned in the street without having to have the standby fire truck, which triggers a whole bunch of other things that have to happen. So they said you can do 4 foot tall and 4 foot around. So that was our design criteria. We also had a selfie stick that went on beyond 4 feet.
Yeah, I see it hanging over there.
Yeah, but we removed the selfie stick before the burn, so we would be in compliance.
Right.
And I saved the selfie stick as a piece of art, an artifact.
Yeah, I wonder if I didn't burn.
Yeah.
But it was intended to burn?
No.
Oh, I see. Okay.
There were some people who wanted to use it, to put a rag around it and squirt on some fire starter and use that to light it. But I wanted to say it's a selfie.
Right.
That was selfish on my part, but I did. I have a collection of interesting photographs through the years of the thing. Plus I have an occasional artifact.
Do you enjoy every single one of them differently, or
yeah.
do you have a favorite?
Favorite
year? These last 2 years have been really awesome. Well, of course I've only seen it twice, but that's it.
Well, we want every Zozobra to be a memorable experience, and whether you experience it once or 18 times, it should be a fun thing to experience, and that's all we try to do, is try to have a good time and release those bad feelings, and it helps build a sense of community around here. People think they're a part of something, that not Zozobra is not just my party, it's their party too. Several of my neighbors come to the burning and then have parties at their home for their friends. That's good. That's the way we want it. We want it to be, available as a community.
And that's another reason why I'm releasing this footage, is because I want everybody to see it and, further immortalize you and what you do. Maybe somebody else will take it over when you're gone or something.
Well, I hope that the tradition continues. We can't guarantee that.
Right.
There have been a couple of times in the last couple of years where it had gotten more than I could handle. I have a number of health problems, including that I'm partially paralyzed.
And we're all there.
And I can't do what I used to do on this little beastie.
Right.
And so, you know, we thought about maybe, especially when Santa Fe went back to Friday. Now they don't do it on the same Friday night, and the experience is a very different experience. We're not in competition
Right.
with Zozobra up in Santa Fe. That's a
But
very
it's kind of neat too, because if you miss Zozobra, you still have time to see not Zozobra. And
It's like, you know, is there a competition between Burning Man and Zozobra? No, they're two different events.
Right.
And we kind of like, but they both involve burning big old effigies.
Right.
Do you ever fear that one day you might not be able to participate in this anymore?
You mean me personally, or that we can't put it on
You
because?
personally, because of your
Health-wise.
health problems.
Well, I
I
guess life
get,
is
you know,
crazy.
if I'm in a hospital or something like that, and they're going to burn nodules over, you better break me out and you better prop me up here. Because no, I'm not. As long as there's breath in my body, I'm going to experience.
Or see a live televised view?
No.
Does that work?
No.
You gotta be there, huh?
Gotta be there.
No live tweeting for you?
A life eating for me.
No.
No, I'd expect that. And if I died contiguous with not Zozobra, then you can prop me up in a coffin and we can do it as a weight. And I don't care, but yeah,
Yeah, I work in the film industry and I'm making a sci-fi horror film. And I'd like to further immortalize you in this party, at least, what is it, about 8 minutes worth of footage in the film? Something like that. Real quick,
Couple minutes.
in a couple minutes.
Yeah.
well, it's a public event and there's no
Yeah.
copyrights from me, and if somebody
Right.
wants to incorporate some footage into something else,
Yeah.
I don't know.
You're right. I got to talk to a lot of people, so I got a lot of permission. And they really love your parties. They just love them. All they do is talk about Not Zozobra. Hey, have you been to Not Zozobra? Have you seen Not Zozobra? What are you talking about? What is Not Zozobra? And
Well, we don't want to publicize it because we don't want to have 50,000 people.
yeah, then you have a problem.
You know, we don't want to have it. It's a community celebration.
Right.
It's for the community, for that purpose, for that reason. We ask people not to post up anything on social media before the event happens.
Right. There could be
that
too much people.
you can, if someone needs to come and get rid of some bad feeling, or you think somebody might enjoy a party, and they're good people, you know, and you've been invited, invite them. You know, it's not restricted. We don't say, well, people can't come, but we don't want to over-publicize it and have it lose its
Right.
scale. I mean, this is a community celebration. And
Yeah, it can get out of hand.
we do it
too,
for the
yeah.
community, and the vast majority of people who come live in the community. They live within a couple of blocks of here, and they bring their kids, and they bring grandpa and grandma.
But you have so much trust in these people that come into your house, and you know you know, they bring food, they bring sodas, they bring drinks, they bring whatever.
Well, we
they
ask
brought.
people to bring something to share. It can
Yeah.
be food, it can be drink, it could be poetry, it could be
That's what I do.
performance.
Something.
You know, something to add to the atmosphere, and people bring that. And you know, if you just trust in people that you'll have enough to eat and enough to drink and enough to be entertained, and you don't have to organize anything.
Right.
And can you imagine trying to organize such a thing?
Yeah, this is very
It's
hard.
way beyond
Yeah.
my skills.
So do you believe that people are generally good?
Yep.
That's good.
Are there bad people? Yep. Do I want to have bad people around me? Nope.
What do you think makes a good person and a bad person?
Oh God.
Just simply.
Probably the way they were brought up, their parenting maybe.
I think it's a combination of all of the things that lead to that person being that person. It could be their upbringing. It could be
Some psychological
a
problem.
psychological problem. It may be that, I don't know, they didn't get breastfed enough.
For long enough, huh?
You know, lots of things contribute to who we are. And I believe that inherently people are good, and if you give people a chance to do the right thing, that more often than not they'll do that. And that served me well personally in my life. I often ask people to do the right thing even though it was difficult for them to do. I worked in the field of disabilities and was fortunate enough to be in positions where part of what we were doing is to try to innovate and make things better for people with disabilities, not to just maintain the status quo. So we try new things, and some of them worked and some of them didn't. And the ones that worked, we tried to spread the word of, hey, here's something you need to try, but it's going to require that you change your business model, that you take a completely different approach to finding work that people with disabilities can do productively rather than create non-productive work. And, you know, I mean, there were people that were in sheltered workshops making, you know, $15 every 2 weeks, who suddenly had the opportunity to make minimum wage and maybe a little bit better and having some benefits because we changed the approach that we did as to how we found ways to make that person's talents and abilities, not just their disabilities, but their talents and abilities to do something
kind
productive.
heart to do that. Wow.
Well, and you gotta think outside the box, and I tried to do that. But you know, when we developed a model that worked, we had to try to ask people to change the way they were doing business and treating their clients, and they thought they were doing the best they could do, but they weren't. And sometimes it's hard for people to go through changes. So, you know, I trusted people to do the right thing and go through those changes, and most of them did.
Sometimes people kind of have a hard time really understanding what other people go through too, you know? Like a lot of times mentally sane people will just be like, oh, why are crazy people so crazy? Can't they just be normal? Can't depressed people just think happy thoughts?
But then what is normal, right?
It's kind of ridiculous and they just don't understand it.
Well, human beings are complex things, and we are, none of us perfect, and none of us imperfect. And we have to try to, you know, create social systems that are welcoming to all people and that let people be different, to have their differences, but to be respectful of those differences and use our social systems to support people being who they are and living the lives that make them happy and make them productive. You know, it's not that difficult if you know, think about what you want to achieve, how you get there.
Right.
I think.
I agree.
What am I, a philosopher king now?
So, do you know what the now Zozobra is going to look like next year?
Oh no.
You don't?
We have a group. It's called the Committee for the Construction, Destruction, and Preservation of the Tradition of Not Zozobra. If you string those initials together, it comes out to say Zozobra.
Yeah, you don't.
But, so we just call it the Comité for short.
Okay.
I don't know why. And each summer, early in the summer, you know, June or so, we have a brunch. And the Comité talks about what are we going to do this year? The last couple of years it's been, should we continue to do it? You know, our original reason, Santa Fe moving to Friday, was taken care of, so...
And it's so perfect to have it here.
So should we just call it quits? But no, we decided
Yeah, but from a house from 1907. I mean,
Yeah, the house
wow.
was built in
Are
1907.
you ever worried that the house would be damaged by the party?
Well, it's far enough away, and we have various safety systems in place.
Do you have insurance on this house? You have to.
Oh, sure.
It's probably insured at over $1 million.
No,
Are you serious?
no, it's insured for the cost of replacing it. Yeah, well, why not?
It's a historical.
You know, you can never
Why be
really
greedy?
replace it.
Yeah.
But you know, like, if this house was destroyed, I would want to have it built out of adobe as it is. I would want to have the same kind of architectural elements. It would be a reproduction. It would no longer be on the National Registry, but it would still be as close
Right.
to this house. And I fully expect this house, which the new part is now 109 years old. The old part's 20, 30 years older than that. That another 130 or 150 or 200 years, its house is still there.
And you said that you came to Albuquerque at the age of 1?
I came to Albuquerque at about the age of 1. I was born in Colorado, in Denver. My father was in the Air Force, and a year after my birth, he was transferred down here. And a couple of years later, he was killed in a military plane crash.
Sorry.
And my mother was fortunately skilled. She was a mathematician and was able to find a good job at Sandia Labs and
Right.
support my brother. She remarried 10 years later. I have a stepfather, and a stepbrother, and stepsister. But yeah, I grew up in Albuquerque. Grew up primarily in the Southeast Heights. And
No brothers, no sisters?
oh yeah, I have 2 brothers. One of whom's a stepbrother, and 1 sister who's a stepsister. So we're family.
Right.
We make that distinction.
That's why you come in this world alone and leave it alone. So
Well, but you have friends and family in the meantime.
yeah, but still, it's still
And
alone.
I have friends and family,
Yeah.
so I'm fortunate that way.
What do you like about Zozobra?
I like a lot of things about Zozobra. I like the atmosphere. I like the inclusion of it, the diversity of the people who are involved. I like the music, the dancing, the singing. The fact that nobody's really afraid to do these things.
I like that song where you can dance.
You can dance if you want to, and you can leave your friends.
You can dance, make yourself like an imbecile and have a blast.
I
I enjoyed it too.
I had a friend that somebody said something about him. He dances like no one's looking, and he dances like he don't care.
Right.
You know, he don't care if anybody's looking at him or not. He's dancing.
How do you get around? Do you have a vehicle, or do people pick you up, or?
I have a 33-year-old Oldsmobile Silhouette van that I drive around.
Is that one out in the front?
Yeah, it's literally some of the parts that are held together with duct tape and baling wire, mostly trim pieces, but
Wow.
it's mechanically sound and it runs.
It doesn't have super glue, or does it?
And somebody tried to glue a piece to the dashboard back on with that expanding foam. And that
Oh,
was
yes, that's junk.
But anyway, you know, all the trim pieces have fallen off of it. There's only one window that works. 2 of the doors are kind of iffy. The driver's side door is okay. And I can fit my walker into it, and I can drive. I can get where I need to go.
That's good.
Today's the 2nd of October, 2015. Is there anything that goes on here on Halloween?
I've never had a Halloween party
Really?
because
Just
I
enough.
do a lot of parties. And like I have a Christmas Eve open house, and a lot of people come to that. I have the Not Zozobra. We do Pie Day in March, 2/14.
Oh, wow. We throw pies at each other? Or?
Well,
No.
of course we have pie fighting. We do there are rules for pie fighting.
Okay.
And that happens out in the front.
Oh,
The
okay,
drug
so we
police
do
act.
that.
We have a pie contest. People bring their favorite pies.
To see who makes the best one.
And we call it your favorite pie, not the best pie. And it can be a dessert pie, it can be a frittata, it can be a breakfast pie. I mean, there's lots of shepherd's pie. And we vote on your favorite pie. And we have a little award for that.
Is there maybe any way you could get all those things together and put it into the Zozobra at that?
No, that's Pie Day.
Oh, okay.
Pie Day is International Talk Like a Physicist Day.
Yes, I remember that.
And so we have a STEM fair where we have, sometimes we have actual physicists doing this stuff. They bring little experiments and demonstrations that are mind-blowing so the kids have stuff to play with. This last year I did a super baking soda volcano where I combined a traditional baking soda volcano with a Mentos and Diet Coke.
Oh,
that
yeah.
is
So
awesome.
it started a little bubbling and then
That
had
is
this
wonderful.
thing, yeah, so we had the, you know, if I'm going to do a STEM fair, I
I
got
fight
to
for
do
that idea.
the traditional volcano blowing up. And we always have some kind of midsummer party. This year our midsummer party was a Great Gatsby party.
Oh.
So everybody got into their strange outfits and we drank bathtub gin. We
Yeah.
actually served gin out of the little bathtub.
That's adorable.
And, you know, there's music at these parties, but no, I don't do Halloween because why should I have to have all the parties?
Right.
You know, let other people have parties.
Right.
And over the years, some people have had parties here because it's a good place to have parties.
Do you have pets?
I have a cat,
Just a cat.
named Einstein.
Einstein.
By the
yeah,
way,
I thought we were
Pi Day is Einstein's birthday.
Oh.
Not only Albert Einstein, but my cat Einstein.
Oh, wow. So both of them have birthday the
That's
same day.
wonderful.
Same day. And it's also my neighbor Trevor's birthday.
Yeah.
He has a Pi Day birthday. And it's my birthday, but I don't celebrate my birthday. I celebrate Pi Day.
Right. You know, a lot of people don't even know that Zozobra is happening here in New Mexico, in Albuquerque. They don't even know about it.
Well,
a lot of people don't.
But it's the community thing. The people in the community know about it. That's,
Yeah, but,
that's what it's
but
for.
you don't want everybody to know because they'd be too
It's
much.
not that I don't want them to know, but we can't accommodate big
Right.
crowds.
Yeah.
It's not like the balloon
It's a tiny
fiesta.
place.
It is.
It's a tiny little
And
cul-de-sac.
it could get out of control or something.
And, you know, we can't. There are limits, there are physical limits to how many people can come and enjoy it. So, you know,
Right.
we first in line are my friends and families and neighbors, as far as I'm concerned. And if others want to come, I can't tell them to not come. But and it's not like we're being exclusive or anything, but it is a community celebration. And we'd like to kind of keep it that way. We don't want to have a big event.
Well, I got a lot of footage for last year and this year, and I'm going to release it to this guy over here, see if we can get make a historical document for Chris Isenguard and his really old house over here. I think this is one of the first houses here, right?
It's when this house was built, there were very, very few houses in Albuquerque. Was, I don't know, had recently doubled in size with coming of the railroad, but was still a 15,000 or fewer people living here.
Right.
And I like to brag that this neighborhood is all about infill because the oldest house in the immediate area was built in the 18th century, in the 1700s.
Oh, really?
It's called La Glorieta, and it's now part of the campus of Manzano Day School, which is
Oh, I'll look that
just
up.
a block over here.
Interesting.
And so we have houses that were built in the 1800s, in the 1900s. My house was built in the 18th century, the 1700s. The 19th century, the 1800s. The early 20th century, which is when my house was built. And then on either side of me, there are new houses that were built in the early 21st century. So we have 5 different centuries of infill here.
That's great.
And it's a
Wow.
it's a living, growing, vibrant neighborhood.
Each one with a historical marker?
What do you think is going to happen to it as Albuquerque grows?
Well, it's my goal to try to keep the neighborhood stable and not unchanging, because we have new houses and new neighbors, and they're great neighbors. But to be part of what Albuquerque really is, which is a little neighborhood that, a group of little neighborhoods, and especially in early Albuquerque, that were sort of self-sufficient. When this neighborhood first developed, we had a grocery store on the corner. We had a gathering place, a dance hall, they called it. And sometimes there was a pool hall. During Prohibition, we had our own bootlegger in the neighborhood.
Wow.
And this was a little self-contained, almost village.
Huh.
And that's what we want to keep. We want to keep the feeling that this is a little tight-knit village that is
Within
plopped
a
down
city.
in the middle of Albuquerque. Or really what happened is it was here first and Albuquerque grew up around it.
Right.
But we want to keep the character of the little village alive.
That's good.
Towards that end, in the 27 years that I've been here, there's not been a single family that is multi-generational that's been displaced out of this neighborhood.
Wow.
There was some of that went on 25 years ago,
Right.
but not lately. People, have raised their kids in the house, and the grandkids now live there.
I'm almost running out of battery time. My
And
name is
it's
Anthony
going
M.
to be
Trujillo,
raining.
and this is
Shoshana Gilbert.
And Chris Isenguard.
watch the Zozobra footage. You'll really enjoy it. Trust me, it's amazing. Thank you very much, everybody.